Welcome, everybody, to another Wildrose podcast. I'm Tom. I'm joined here with my good friends Rob and Nathan. This is Nathan's second appearance on our podcast.
Hey!
Holly's not here today.
Slowly making my way in, just worming myself like a tick. Soon you won't be able to get rid of me.
So we are recording this on what the fuck day is it today? May 3rd, Sunday. We are recording it on Sunday, May 3rd, and I think I will be airing it tomorrow night, so Monday in the afternoon. I just wanted to say that because we're going to be talking about this Thursday, I think, coming up is when Microsoft's going to have a digital event showing off gameplay for Xbox Series X games.
Oh, I didn't know it was that soon.
Yeah, May 7th. That's another thing they're doing that Sony isn't. I don't know what Sony's doing. I really wish they'd be a lot more transparent about whatever they've got planned or coming down the pipeline.
I know, right?
I think they're almost doing it on purpose to create, like, not fake hype, but like internet-generated hype.
Yeah, I don't think it's working for them, though.
Yeah.
I think they want us to be going, wow, the PS5, it could be anything. I can't wait. And it's
what
like,
are they doing?
And I think the sort of overwhelming reaction is like, is there a PS5?
Microsoft looks like they're doing cool stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting. I will give them credit though. Every time they do talk about something, it always like is trending on Twitter or it's all over the place for like a few days. And I think that's like kind of like how they gave us a logo and that was it. And then months later they had a press event. They spent an hour talking about the hard drive.
Oh god.
And then months later they showed us the controller and that was it. So I feel like they're spoon feeding portions until there's some sort of big reveal, and the tiny little portions are meant to keep the hype moving. But every time they announce one thing, Microsoft's already beaten them to the mark on it.
And like how much of the like trending conversation is people like, wow, love the new logo.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, people goofing on Sony.
Yeah.
Like, okay, they showed the PS5 logo. Turns out it's going to be called the PS5, and the 5 is just a backwards S, like everyone already knew.
I've heard one theory that Sony's trying to copy Nintendo, and the way they had the official reveal for Codename NX, and then they announced like 3 months later there will be an entire event about the Switch. And then 3 months after that event, it launched. So there's like a 6 month from official reveal to when it launched that was just full of Switch marketing and stuff. I've heard a theory that that's what Sony's trying to do. The problem is Microsoft keeps pushing forward with the Xbox Series X, and it's forcing Sony's hand to be like, we have this plan, but if we stay too silent, people will forget about us. So let's just put the logo out, just so that people remember we're a thing. That might be what's happening.
I mean, I could see them trying to sort of emulate that, and I had forgotten like just how long Nintendo went without showing off the Switch. But like leading up to it, there was a ton of speculation about like what's Nintendo going to do this time, because they're always doing something new.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like you don't really see that from Sony. I don't know, maybe it's just the parts of the internet that I'm on, but I haven't really seen a lot of people being like, oh, maybe it'll have this, maybe it'll have this.
Yeah, it doesn't work so because Microsoft will usually like come up with something that's wild. Like we already know for the most part what it's going to be. It's just wanting to know like officially what is it. Microsoft, they're always off in their like corner doing something wild that's like, whoa, this is what they're doing. So in this case, it's actually making more tired than anything. It's just kind of like, can we just get to it now? Like we already know. We just want to like have the confirmation.
Yeah, I think That is one big hype, internet generated hype advantage that Nintendo has over the others is because they always do something different. You don't know what the next thing is going to be. But with Microsoft and Sony both, it's the new rectangle that plays games. Just show me the games and let's get it over with. With Nintendo, it's like, what is it?
It plays games, it just plays them harder than the old one.
Yeah.
Rides fast and eats ass.
I'll forgive Sony if that's what the PS5.
That's their marketing tagline for it.
Oh god.
With real haptic feedback.
So you can really taste that ass on your tongue.
There is a PS5 concept art, like fan-made concept art that I'm going to put into the background.
Oh, I saw that before.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in the background of our podcast. Because I think it's pretty close to what it'll probably end up looking like. Because it's a lot thinner and sleeker, but it's a similar shape to the dev kit that leaked forever ago.
Yeah.
And it's the color scheme they chose for the render it matches that controller that was released. So it's, I mean, I like the way it looks. I hope it is an approximation of that. But I'm with Nathan and probably Rob too. Come on, Sony, just talk about it. At the very least, tell us when you're going to talk about it. Tell us June 18th we'll be having our PlayStation Press event. Okay. Then everybody will wait till that day and it will no longer be, oh, Microsoft keeps tweeting about this. What's Sony doing? Oh, they're not doing anything.
Or at the very, very least, don't have a representative from your own company in your own presentation about your own console say, I guess we'll find out. Like he doesn't know. And just give everyone ammunition.
Yeah.
And remember when Sony was good at marketing? Like a year
I know,
ago?
right? There was
It feels like they just don't want this generation to end.
Yeah.
They're just so happy in first place, they don't want to accept that they might not be next time.
Oh man. I was having a weird moment when I was staring at the PS5 dev kit, actually. This is going back a little bit. But it reminded me something in City Skylines. There's like these major buildings that you can get for the end game. And one of them, it's like the Paradise Dome or something. It looks exactly like the dev kit. And I just remember saying that the first time. It's like, is that supposed to be like an actual thing? Or was like somebody just taking like a structure in a game? It was just like, this is a dev kit. I don't know why. It's just like a weird little thing. The design just reminds me of something. I'm staring at it right now. I don't know what. Also, I don't know why it has like that dip with the air vents.
Yeah,
for cooling.
Is it?
It's a very like kind of weirdly almost retro design.
Yeah. Well,
like it looks like a personal stereo from about 2005.
Oh god, it does actually.
I know, because it actually looks a lot like the old stereo I used to have in 2005.
See, its design the dev kit anyway. Its design makes a lot of sense to me because the reason why it's got so many vents and pockets is what it's doing is it probably has either one giant fan or multiple small ones that pull air in through the front and blow it out the back to keep the whole system cool. And that's really the only option they've got if they're putting the amount of power as advertised into a horizontal slim system. The huge advantage the Series X has, despite it looking like a refrigerator, is that it's an awesome design for cooling. Evidence to that is that's why PC towers are towers.
Yeah.
I think that might be Sony's only option to have those vents like that if they're still trying to keep like a slim, sleek Blu-ray player looking device in your entertainment center.
Yeah.
That's why the one render I'm talking about, if you look at our picture when this airs, I didn't make the picture. Look at our background when this airs. That's why that design I feel is pretty close, because dev kits also usually have more power put in them than the actual final product.
Yeah, well, it's usually stress testing just to make sure it doesn't explode.
And it also has to like compile the data in real time, so it has to be strong enough to do that before the game is finished and everything's pre-compiled essentially on the disc.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the design that people are like thinking. It's like the picture that you're going to put up. Like, I've seen it. It's a really cool design. It looks very PS5. Very sleek. I
wonder
like
if they're
it.
gonna put like a slightly different color,
That
like
came
like a metal plate to help with cooling in that like V, but purposefully make it exposed through the plastic so that it not only helps with further cooling, but it has like a stylized V to represent 5. That'd be
kind of neat. Staring at the dev kit with those like little vents, I'm wondering if that's the outblow or the output, or wow, Jesus, if that's where like the air comes out of. Then just how it's set up, I'm wondering if you could get like a little tornado going, just airflow.
Potentially. That's actually the
That'd be
Series
fun.
X. On the inside of the Series X, it's actually generating like a little, well, it's just how a fan pushes air, but it is like swirling around on the inside and pushing the heat out the top.
Yeah.
And because heat rises, that makes it more efficient and everything too, which is it's a really nice design. I was put off by it at first because I'm so I don't want to say desensitized, that's not the right word. I'm so used to how a console looks, and so seeing that, I wasn't upset, and I wasn't one of the people that at first were, oh, now it looks like a gross PC tower or whatever. It was just kind of an out of left field thing I didn't expect.
Yeah. I appreciate that, 'cause I feel like we don't have that as much as we used to.
Yeah.
One of my, I don't want to just go off on a tangent on the Dreamcast again, like I did on Discord a while ago. I just wanted to quickly say I love the way the Dreamcast looks, because it has these, it was actually designed to look kind of like a race car. So it has like these slopes and then sharp edges at the back to be like a fin on the back of a race car. And the little orange diamond for the Dreamcast that's on by where the disc tray is was put there so that it would kind of resemble a hood ornament. And I think those kinds of weird design influences is something that's just missing from the console space nowadays. Everything just tries to look like a DVD player.
Yeah.
Side note,
I get it too.
But yeah, like, I mean, you go back to like the 90s, you know, when you had like the Super Nintendo and the Genesis, and how distinct those two looked from each other. It was really cool seeing that kind of creativity.
Yeah.
Every time I post about something like this on social media, I always get tons of people posting those okay boomer memes at me.
Well,
we're not that old.
We're talking about video games.
Speaking of talking about video games on the internet, what have we all been playing lately?
Oh, fuck me. With my burned out video card, you know, so many games.
Get a console, peasant.
I do. So I've been playing mostly right now.
Oh, I want to take that soundbite of Rob. Get a console, peasant. Put it as like a text tone or try to make it into a meme online.
Do what you did last time with the Nathan facts. It's Rob. Shit, Rob says.
I'm holding on to that Nathan facts. I want to use that.
Oh, hell yeah.
And slowly like write a book of Nathan facts.
Is that going to be the title? Just like the front page?
Maybe.
Sweet.
So, Rob, has there been any games you've been playing lately?
Every time we ask this question, I just completely blank. What have I been playing? I was really going hard on Tangle Deep for a while. And I mean, I'm definitely gonna get back. I realized it actually scratches a lot of the same itch that I think Animal Crossing would.
Mm.
You know, like there's like charming NPCs you can talk to, you can have pets, you can grow trees. Yeah. Recently, what have I been playing?
You still need to get Alien Isolation on the Switch.
As soon as someone sells it, I will. EB Games doesn't have it. Amazon doesn't have it.
I'm pretty sure it had a limited run physical
It
release.
seems that way.
It might be something that the actual, I think they're just called limited run games. They might pick it up again at some point, but I think it might be a digital only game right now.
And what have I been playing?
I was having the same trouble.
My time.
I was having the same trouble earlier thinking about it because I haven't really been sitting down to play a particular thing. I've been kind of, before I was doing like spring cleaning and rearranging my office. I ordered a bunch of Dreamcast games and they all showed up, and I was kind of playing each one for maybe an hour or two. But just a few days ago, I started a new game on Pokemon Red, just because I kind of felt like it. And I'm probably going to be playing a little bit more of it later on today, because I'm going to take Holly to where her horses are, and I often just sit in the car with a book or my Game Boy Color or something. So I'll probably be playing that again later. I really like the Game Boy Color. I wish... I'm torn. Eventually I want to get a retro modded system of one, or do the mod myself where I put in like a backlit screen or a rechargeable battery and a new shell. But I keep running into problems in my own mind of what I should do. Should I do that for my Game Boy Color, or should I do that for my Game Boy Advance? Because I like the Game Boy Color's design and iconic look, but if I do it to a Game Boy Advance, I can then play Game Boy Color games on it and Game Boy Advance games. So it feels like it's the smarter choice to do, but I want the Game Boy Color to be modded, but I don't know. I keep going back and forth on it, and it's not going to happen anytime soon anyway. So I've got lots of time to figure it out.
Yeah, I personally, like, if I was going to do it, I would just go with the Game Boy Advance, because like it is backwards compatible, and also that is the actual sort of aesthetic that I prefer. Either like the original Game Boy Advance or the SP. I
really, really, really like the original Advance. For some reason, the SP, it gets my hands actually start to hurt after a while. I get cramps.
Yeah, I could see that.
With the original Game Boy Advance, which I still have, that doesn't happen. But weirdly enough, it doesn't happen with the Game Boy Color either. I think it's because it's got like kind of like a butt. Like it's got like a curve on the end of it. And I think that maybe it makes it fit in my palm, whereas the SP is just square.
Yeah.
Well, and the Game Boy Color doesn't have the L and R buttons. They kind of have to like crunch your hands into. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The only other game I was playing was I played Dragon Warrior 1 and 2 for a little bit on my Game Boy Color, and I really like that game. It's Dragon Quest 1 and 2, but it was localized at the time as Dragon Warrior.
Yeah.
It's the only other game I've been playing lately. What about you, Nathan?
Surprisingly, I've actually been playing a number of games, even with my computer dead. I don't have a lot of other stuff to do, so why not? I've actually just been getting ready to start a new like full-on Halo run through now that I have ODST again.
We should do that together.
We should, but that's definitely something that's a lot funner to do in person. But we can definitely do that again.
Yeah.
And like just check it out and see how we do other things with it.
I've been getting the itch to play the Halo campaigns again, and while we both have Xbox Live, we might as well.
We actually should definitely do that. But yeah, I've been getting ready to do another one of those. I'm just kind of like holding back a bit because I ended up uninstalling Halo 5 temporarily. And this is something I usually do once in a while. I'm not the biggest fan of Call of Duty. Really, like, if there's someone that's on like a super sale, I'll usually get it just to see what the series is doing. And then the newest one turned up on Xbox, on my Xbox, and it was actually super cheap. I can't remember what the percent or what off percent it was, but it was
like the Modern Warfare reboot one,
not the the reboot one, like not the remaster,
not the original,
but the actual reboot.
Yeah, like the new
and
official one.
Yeah, and
where
so
they
that popped up.
reused the title of the old one and made everything confusing.
So confusing. But I saw it was on. I'm just like, yeah, okay. I really enjoyed Modern Warfare 1 and 2. Like, I really enjoyed Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2. They said it was a jump back to like those kinds of games. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it, I'll try it. It's actually a pretty good game. I've actually really been enjoying my time with it. They have a bot mode in it, which makes me happy because I hate people. And the bots are actually
most of us were all solo snobs.
Yeah. And the bots are actually like pretty good. I can't set them on I can't set them on normal like I would on Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 and just like get the top kill streaks and just absolutely decimate them. No, normal's actually a decent, like they'll actually kill me here and there. Easy, I can just trance over them any day. That's why I want to try out like what is the size of this explosion? Let's find out. But yeah, and then the campaign is actually really fun. I've really been liking the story. So that was actually a really nice surprise. I was not expecting much going into it, but I was like, yeah, fuck it. Like, it's on really cheap. I might as well see what they're doing. I actually ended up having a blast with it.
I've heard its campaign is like stellar.
Yeah, it is. Crimes just constant. It is amazing. I love it.
The biggest complaint I've heard about it is they like change the facts of one historical event.
They did.
To make it not look like America's the bad guys.
Yeah, no, I hit that level, and I know what happened because, you know me, I just fucking read up on this bullshit. I have nothing else to do in my life sometimes. I hit the point, but it wasn't that, like, they make it seem like it was like this big horrible thing. The level's really fun to play, honestly. I really enjoyed it. Not at all factual to what actually went down, but it was fun. Which is honestly Call of Duty. What the fuck are we doing? I don't know. But yeah,
Call
good
of Duty
game.
is starting to have a weird resurgence.
It is.
Activision became aware of the fact that people don't like it anymore, and it only sold because it was that like comfort food game now.
It was like Black Ops 4. I hated that game. I really did. It was and like the most recent ones were just utter trash. That's why I kept on going. Like Black Ops 1 and 2 are my favorite out of all of them. And then with this one, it's actually like, maybe I'll actually start paying attention to them again because it's a good game. I haven't beaten the campaign yet fully. I hit a point that I thought would be like the end of it, and they pulled like the swing of just like it's not actually ending. I'm like, oh my god, there's more to come. So see where this goes. No spoilers, but yeah, I've been enjoying it. Aside from that, as said, I've been prepping a Halo 1. I'm gonna I've been wanting to just get through the campaign, do a little bit more of the multiplayer before I uninstall some of this stuff. Mostly, I don't really care about the Battle Royale, so I'll probably toss that and then see if that's enough room to reinstall the fucking Halo 5 so I can do a full playthrough of it. But yeah, that's been good. Aside from that, been playing Lode Runner 2 again. I love that game. God, my heart. I love Lode Runner 2. I have it right on my desk. It's staring at me like, "Hey, baby, do you want to do some more?" I'm like, "Oh, you know I do."
Does Windows 10 like recognize it?
It does. Like, I don't know who made this game, but like so many games from that period, you cannot play anymore. This game runs, and it runs good, which is even funnier. Like, I can Like even like making the levels, that still functions. Playing the game functions beautifully. Runs so like it runs amazing. Definitely a game I love, and I'm so happy that's still going. I don't know what they did when they in development, but this thing is future proof and is wonderful. Maybe when I later it'll stop running, but so far it's pretty good. Yeah, so I've been doing that. I've been doing Terraria and just building homes because that's what I do. I build homes for poor homeless NPCs. That's my life.
That can't afford their own homes.
Can't afford their own homes. And then I watch zombies break into these beautiful homes that I made on a blood moon and just murder everybody. I'm like, oh no. Time to replace all the doors. Yeah. So, have I been playing anything else? And Neverwinter's Nights, but I've been on a little bit of a rampage from that, and it doesn't take much to play. Oh, and Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Explorers of Time. Love it. There's something, I don't know what it is, and like I do like the more modern Pokemon, but especially jumping back, I did Soul Silver again lately. I did Diamond and Pearl pretty recently too, and there's something like in the older versions of Pokemon that just feels like it's missing in the new ones, and I don't know what it is, but there's like something like
Good design.
I think like their focus on making everything 3D and the modeling and just all the animations, which they didn't have to do in the past versions, and because they're still releasing it in like the same time frames, I think that having to do all that has been like making them miss out on a lot of like the just tiny little things that you were able to do in the old ones. Like that just has nothing to do with like really the plot or like the battles, but just like fun little side shit that you could just do because you want to, or like cool little like locations that you want, or you're just like, oh, what the fuck is this? Well, like in Diamond and Pearl, you go into another dimension to catch a fucking Pokemon. Or was that Diamond and Pearl? Or was that? I can't remember. It was one back then. But like you'd enter like shadowy world and beat up a Pokemon. Yeah, there's like weird little. There's like a little feeling I get when I'm playing like the old ones, and but it's like just being able to run around and do. There's more opportunities to just stick around. That isn't so much in the new ones, and I kind of miss it. It's been a fun little trip down memory lane, and it's been a fun little trip into like, oh yeah, I remembered I could do this.
My favorites to return to are Gen 1 and Gen 2. I think it's
beautiful.
I think Game Freak is a talented developer, but I think that their audience, their demographic has changed, and they've changed with it. So the older demographic like us has issues with some of their choices and priorities nowadays.
Yeah, that's definitely part of it. God, if they could make a Pokemon game for us, that'd be fucking amazing. Jesus Christ. They'd be like, all right, well, let's put like, there's a lot of kid-friendly stuff. It's just like, all right, well, stuff's proof for them. Let's just like move on to like the old demographics of them and do it. It'd be like, they did like the special Pokemon, or the special, I think it was like 5 episodes, the like Pokemon Red special ones. Yeah, like just like the TV show. I think it was 5 episodes. That was like good. Holy crap. Love to see more of that.
Well,
Not saying like let's make Pokemon a blood. It can get a little bit more kooky with this shit.
Dude, I know a little pixel art game with complex mechanics and monsters that you can collect and use to fight on your side.
No, really?
It's called Tangle Deep.
Whoa.
I am interested in that.
I think
it's called Temtem when it comes out.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I think it's already out on Steam, but it's coming to consoles next year, I think.
Temtem. Have I seen this before? Oh, this one. Yeah, okay, I've seen that. I was like, what the fuck is Temtem? I was like, hold on 2 seconds. Yeah, I've seen this before. Never mind.
Oh, I didn't realize it was like an MMO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, MMO part's a little but
It
I'm
doesn't
down
affect
for it.
the core game at all, other than a player could challenge you or you could challenge them, is what I'm told.
Can I still just ignore everybody and do my own thing?
Yeah, I think you can go into like a private server and play if you want.
Okay, yeah, then I'm totally into this. Let's fucking do it. As long as I can ignore the greater population, I'm a happy soul.
So in recent gaming news, Assassin's Creed Valhalla got announced.
Oh yeah.
What are Rob, have you seen the trailer?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I've just heard.
The trailer's just a CGI one right now. Gameplay is supposed to be shown at this Xbox event later this week. But I'm assuming it's going to follow the same vein as Origins and Odyssey have gone down, which a lot is apparently a touchy subject amongst Assassin's Creed fans, but I prefer the newer ones. Like, I loved Assassin's Creed 1 and 2 for what they were, but every single game after 2 just copied 2. And it took until Origins for them to try something new, but they gave you in the gameplay the ability to still just stealth and assassinate and whatever if that's what you wanted. And to me, basically playing how you want to play is the best way a game can be experienced. So I don't understand the rage that a lot of people have for it, but I'm also like extremely casual of an Assassin's Creed fan. I played 1, 2, 3, like an hour of 4, and then Origins. So I think there's like 15 games now, and I've not played most of them. So maybe it's just that I'm not a hardcore diehard fan, but I'm very interested in the like Nordic setting that it's going for, and that's the big appeal to me right now.
Yeah. Like,
oh boy.
I've always liked the settings of Assassin's Creed games, and like I liked what little I played of Origins, but at a certain point it was like, oh, I guess I have to go do assassinations now. I just want to climb this statue and steal that guy's boat.
Yeah,
oh, Rob.
Like, it's the same sort of problem that I have with like GTA, where it's like, yeah, running around and just doing whatever you want is a lot of fun. I'm just not sort of the main game, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like number 4. I think it was the one you were in Liberty City. Yeah, that was number 4.
Oh, yeah, GTA 4. Yeah.
Yeah. That one was my issue with number 5 is that money and always being online was a big cap, and then if you tried to like or anything, then they'd come down on you like
be online in that one.
Well, if you didn't always have to be online, but it was a lot more constricting. I didn't really like the money side of it because it was just like I just want to run around, grab a big gun, and see what chaos I can do, and you can still do that. But then there's a lot of stuff that's just like, oh, but if you really want to like do some of like the big stuff, then you need to like spend time and grind and all this. And I was like, or pay money. I was like, I don't like that. I like number 4 where it's just like, hey, go blow shit up. That was what I just wanted to do. Still a good game. Number 5. I've played many hours. I've sunk into that game, and some of the side like little missions you can do are actually pretty fun. But I don't know. Anyways, we were on Assassin's Creed, the new Assassin's Creed. Not. Is this a good time for me to start my side of this thing, or do you want to say your piece first? There, well, I guess you already did.
The only other thing I'd want to add before you jump in is I was interested in bringing up this is I think every console generation since the 360s had an Assassin's Creed at launch. Was the first Assassin's Creed a launch title? I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
But I know for a fact that 4 was a launch title because I got it with my PS4 on launch day. And what I was interested in bringing up was, is Assassin's Creed do you think it's still considered amongst the gaming community the like a high quality launch day necessity game, if you know what I mean?
I don't.
For a very long time, Assassin's Creed was kind of the Call of Duty annual release of comfort
It's
food
definitely up there.
games.
It definitely fell from grace for a bit there. I think they're trying to work themselves back up to it, so that's why I'm very interested in how Valhalla will turn out. Because there was a while that Assassin's Creed just kind of got shit on a lot.
Yeah. Well, because they were just releasing broken games.
So bad.
There was one, I guess you'd call it a meme. It was like a joke that I really liked when I don't remember which Assassin's Creed game it was came out. It was the one where the faces wouldn't load in, but the eyes.
Oh
and mouth
god, yeah, I
I
remember
want to say that was you.
That
I think it was Unity.
Yeah, I think it was Unity too.
But there was a picture of like, I think it was Ubisoft posted a picture that was on Thanksgiving, and it was like a pumpkin pie that had the Assassin's logo on the center or something. And someone was like, I would never eat that. If it's anything like your game, it's just full of bugs. And it just always gets me. Whenever I think about glitches in Assassin's Creed, I think about that pie.
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
I really liked Origins, and if it's a similar vein to that, then I'm very interested in it. But Nathan, you're a bit of a history buff, so I'm curious how you feel about what did you watch the trailer? So
I watched the trailer. I watched so many trailer breakdowns, and I just like started typing it on. That was me yesterday. It was just like, I know this period very well. What did the fucking armors and like such look at this time? Honestly, they're going a lot more fantasy into this one. And it's kind of been a trend that I've noticed. Like in number 1, number 2, there's still fantasy aspects of it. I'm not saying that those ones are like super accurate. There's a lot of shit that is just like, no, this is fantasy.
The core underlying narrative that does connect them all together is like about
it's like
supernatural
aliens
forces.
and supernatural things.
I didn't know there was aliens.
Oh yeah, they're aliens, buddy.
I thought it was just
let me aliens.
Honestly, I assumed it was basically the Da Vinci Code, but with a machine that lets you go back in time.
That'd be cool though. Da Vinci Code Assassin's Creed style. That'd actually be pretty funky. I'd be down for that. But no, like there were still a lot of aspects that were baked like into how things were, like structure, armors were somewhat more accurate. This one they're throwing a lot of stuff to the wind. A lot of the armors are from different periods. The European armors, the British, honestly look more Greek. Like really heavy Greek style for some reason on some of those armors. Like, and then like the Vikings, you would not use leather armor to that extent. Leather armor was expensive and also hard to repair, so Vikings and all that usually use padded armor. But you know, say la vie, that's mostly just a nitpick for me. I could get into the details on that, but overall, it's a lot more fantasy focused in this one, and especially it looks a lot more fantasy focused. I'm excited for it, and I also love fantasy, but it's seeing the trailer, I'm just kind of like, well, I'm definitely not going to be going into this looking for like stare at the cathedrals and be like, how accurate is this? This is going to be something that's just pure on. I'm going to treat it like a fantasy game because it's insane and I love it. But at the same time, the history side of me is just like, oh, why do you do this?
Yeah, like you just kind of have to enjoy it just because like it's fun and it's sort of like thematically related to stuff that you're in.
Yeah, it's thematically. And I'm one of those lucky people. I love real life history. I love the fantasy aspect. I'm kind of like on the sweet point, so I'm going to be happy either way. But I know that there's some people that are probably going to be staring at this going like nitpicking. These armors aren't exactly accurate to the timeline of like blah blah blah. I was like, yeah, I know.
Actually,
Actually, like I have no time, like what actual time frame between like I think it was the 8th to the 11th centuries that Vikings were big in. I have no idea what span that is because honestly, there's shit from like all over those timelines. So it'll be interesting to see what period the actual like narrative takes place in.
well, it showed King. What's his name? Alfred.
I think
That was definitely the Dark Ages when he was
Cages, but yeah, it's gonna like he might be in it, but I don't know if it's gonna lean like okay, he's a character in it, but maybe it'll take more inspiration from like overall from like later on or earlier. I don't know, but we'll find out. I'm excited either way. I'll probably get it because Origins was actually a little bit more interesting. Well, it was bigger. You could explore. I didn't like the grind for some parts of it, but it was bigger to explore. I liked what I played from it, so I might actually pick this one up.
See,
yeah, it was a cool environment.
Yeah, it was a really cool environment.
Origins,
yeah, again,
I really liked it. So I'm fairly excited for this one. I don't see them changing much up. There has been interviews already with Ubisoft where they've talked about things they have changed, and what made me think of it just now was you mentioning the grind. They said they've toned down the RPG elements of like
thank the Lord. Thank you.
So I'm curious how that affects certain things, but
yeah. That was one of the main reasons I didn't end up buying it. It's just the grind. It was just like, oh fuck me, I don't feel like doing this. Tried it. I was like, okay, well that got my kicks in. I'm just going to wait for the next one. But if they're solving it, then hell yeah, I'm totally down. Vikings, whether they're fantasy or real, I'm down. Vikings are cool.
In Assassin's Creed Origins, they had like bonus bosses that were like giant Egyptian gods of like Anubis and I can't remember the other one's names, but they were completely in the canon. It established that they're like glitches in the Animus or something, but it's just supposed to be like a fun supernatural boss fight of some kind. I'm curious if in this game, do you think especially since the Marvel movies are still so popular, an unlockable weapon has to be Mjolnir, right?
I would be surprised. Surprised that they didn't do that.
Like it's especially, I imagine they'd probably design it to look like the Marvel movie one, unless there's like a copyright issue with that.
I'm pretty sure there'd be a copyright issue with that, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, they sort of get around that by just making it similar.
Yeah.
Just like, oh no, it's that's a slightly different shade of iron or whatever.
I mean, the whole ridiculousness of throwing around a Warhammer made of iron that's big is so fucking just like you would probably snap your wrist, but God, there's something so beautiful about it at the same time.
You would. That's why it's a mythical weapon.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, it's all throughout. Even without that one, people like showing it like these giant ass things with iron. But there's something so beautiful, even though it would no way be practical. There's something so beautiful about it. Honestly, I would be surprised if they didn't stick Mjolnir in there. They honestly, this one's definitely more fantasy focused. Yeah, I can see it. We're going to be shooting lightning from our nutsack.
For Odin!
How much is that 3X gonna cost? Now I'm interested.
I know, right?
See, Rob, you just made me think of something else Microsoft's doing is that every game that comes out for current gen, you automatically have the next gen better version by default.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So I'm interested if that's something that has scared Sony. Like if they've potentially already had like Final Fantasy VII enhanced and Ghost of Tsushima enhanced and shit ready to go, and Microsoft is just, no man, buy the game on Xbox One. Don't even worry. If you end up getting a Series X, you'll get the better version for free as soon as you pop the disc in.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's interesting.
I think there's been a lot of sort of aspects like that where Sony's now suddenly finding themselves lagging behind everyone else.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I can see them like doing what you said with the enhanced editions. You know, there's the whole thing with cross play where they were just like refusing.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was weird that they fought so hard against crossplay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they still kind of do, but I think they've left it up to, I can't remember, I heard about it a while ago. They like left it up to individual developers to do it themselves, but developers have commented on Sony still doesn't make it easy. Like it's almost like they encourage you not doing it.
Well, like I know Chucklefish specifically when Wargroove came out, like Sony said, well, no, we offer them the option and they refused, and then they went on Twitter like, no, we didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird. I have this entirely different feeling already going into this gen than I did last. I was so excited for what Xbox was going to do next, and then at that one E3, it was immediately, nope, I'm buying a PS4.
Yeah.
And this generation, it just feels like it feels like Microsoft is trying again, and Sony's kind of just, whatever.
Yeah.
The positions have kind of swapped,
Hmm.
which is interesting.
Mhm.
I mean, hey, who knows what they'll bring?
Yeah.
I'm interested.
Like the PS5 could get announced, and it's like its hardware specs have already been shown, and it's technically weaker than the Xbox Series X, but not by a significant enough of a margin. It's not a repeat of last gen where on PS4 a game was 1080p 30 frames per second, and in order for the Xbox One to play the original model to play the same game at 30 frames per second, it had to be 720p, if not even lower in some cases.
Mhm.
So there was a huge power difference between them. And on top of that, Microsoft was more expensive because they at launch they forced you to buy the Kinect. And
Yeah.
so it's I think Microsoft is banking on the dollar value right now. I think they're going to pump out, well, I mean, we know what these system specs are, and they're pretty close to each other, with Microsoft just a little bit ahead. I think Microsoft is really going to gun for undercutting Sony this generation to not repeat that problem.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm feeling it.
Because even though it's a little bit more powerful, I have a feeling it's going to be like $50 cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be.
I can't shake this gut feeling I've got about it, that the prices are going to come out. One's going to be like $499 and the other one's going to be $449 or something to that effect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling that there.
From what I've heard, it does seem like they're scared by the price.
It does seem like they're playing chicken.
Yeah.
So the Xbox event that's happening later on this week, I think Microsoft did say it's going to be mostly third-party games shown off
Breaks
at this
my
one.
heart.
See, I'm actually curious. There was a rumor a couple of weeks ago that Microsoft was going to have 2 digital events in May, and one of them was like essentially their E3 conference that they've reworked into a digital event. And it didn't make sense to me at the time that why would they bother with 2 then? But since one was announced on like April 30th or something, and it's happening on May 7th, I'm wondering if at the end of the month they really are gonna have another digital event, and it's gonna be nothing but first party stuff.
I hope so. I'm curious as to what they're doing for first party. I want to see more Halo Infinite, honestly.
I think Halo Infinite's gonna get delayed.
Yeah. With all that's going on in the world, there's probably a lot of shit that's going to get delayed.
Yeah. Well, like all the studios that Microsoft bought up recently, would those technically be first party?
Yes.
They would now.
So yeah,
because
I'd think they must have something to like show off those games.
So we still don't know what the Initiative studio is working on, but we know it's something huge. I can't remember if they established it was a new IP or not, but I know it's supposed to be like this big, huge AAA title, and the people that work at the Initiative are people that like used to work on like at BioWare and at Blizzard and at Naughty Dog, and it's all these huge studios. So it's established that whatever they're working on is probably something big, and it's I can't remember if they established it was a new IP or not. But I think for some reason I feel like it was that they're working on something we've never seen before. So I'm very interested in whatever it is they're working on. And I do have a gut feeling that Playground is working on a new Fable game.
I would love that.
Because they confirmed they're working on an open world RPG in an established franchise that is owned by Microsoft. And it's like, what other one is it then?
I know. I really want a new Fable, and I hope it's not like number 3.
I don't think it would. I think at this point they'd reboot it. I think they'd make a new one and just call it Fable.
Yeah.
And beyond maybe like a sense of humor and like the names of towns and stuff, I think it'll probably have nothing in common with the original, like that what fans believe work and don't work. I think the stuff that did work they'll keep, but I think it'll be so different from how the originals were that they're just going to classify it as a reboot and just call it Fable.
I'd be down for that. Honestly, I just want to explore more in the Fable universe. It's a really cool game series. And like I love number 1 so much, and number 2, I have my gripes, but overall it's a pretty good game. Number 3 was just I did not enjoy that one. But yeah,
I played 3 for like an hour and walked away, and I've never felt the need to go back.
Yeah. Like at least number 2, I pushed through to like beat it, even though I was super sad that they like yanked a lot of the spells out of, because I love magic. Number 1, you could fully go like build yourself into just full on mage. Like you still touch a sword or crossbow once in a while, and there is actually spells that you want to use with a sword and a crossbow. But yeah, number 2, a lot of the utility and just like weird funky spells disappeared, but you could still be pretty like strong magic user. And then number 3, I don't know, I just didn't like number 3 overall. It just did not leave a good taste in my mouth. But yeah, I'm hoping if whether or not they go back and take things that worked, or just full on just do a whole new reboot. I'm excited because I love Fable and I really miss Fable, and I still go back to play number 1 and number 2 on a good number of occasions. So I'm totally down for a new Fable. Let's do it. Hell yeah.
Okay.
Bring me back.
Did you have any thoughts on Assassin's Creed, Rob? We kind of moved away.
Yeah, we moved on.
I don't know. I think we pretty much covered my thoughts. Like, I like that, they're doing another new environment, one that sounds cool. But like, the main gameplay and like when you were talking about the fights with the gods, I realized like that's all I want. Just give me like a mythology themed game in like a historical environment, and just cut out all the stuff about the assassins and the Templars and whatever that machine is called, because I've already forgotten.
Sounds like somebody needs to play God of War.
Yeah. There's actually and I don't think they're going to do it, but it's a cool little thing that was tackled. and it was Total War. Their Troy game that's going to come out actually has some aspects I like. And like it was like when we watched that Hercules movie, it's like bringing myths and then like turning them into like something more realistic. Like it's still
like embellished tales of the time. Kind
yeah,
of thing.
and like how like the Hydra turned out to just be like a whole load of like kooky guys attacking people in like the woods, like using like costumes and all this, and like just really cool things. Troy is kind of doing the same thing, and it'd be kind of cool to see like Assassin's Creed do it too. But there's a picture I'll send. It's like their take on like the Minotaur, because that was I'll post it in the main chat, in which like the idea of like the Minotaur being like this big half man, half bull. Jesus, that picture's not appearing. You can just click on it. Fuck it. Like half man, half bull, like big monster. But then they instead change it to more like a giant dude, like who wears like an outfit for intimidation, which is more like bull, like has a bull skull and all that. So
cool.
Yeah, I know. And I really love taking fantasy and turning it more realistic. And I love games that do that. So Troy, I'm probably actually going to look into getting. Also, Troy, I was really weirded out about them doing Troy Period because it's a very it's a lot more simplistic fighting. It was still early age. But if they're tossing in stuff like the Minotaur and all that to mix things up, that might actually be something I'd really look into.
Yeah.
Like, keep my eye on, because it's things like that, taking fantasy and old stories and then seeing, well, how did they become, like, how did someone dream up a Minotaur one day? Like, either they saw something or some Yahoo in a costume decided to, like, smack around some of his friends and he's like, oh, big bull man.
Yeah, just out of, like, sort of it occurred to me and I decided to look up Gods and Monsters.
Oh.
I realized, like, yeah, that is, like, a Greek mythology themed game that is actually from the team that worked on Assassin's Creed. So I think maybe that's just the game I want.
Maybe. Might have to look into that too.
Wasn't that supposed to come out last year?
I thought so, yeah.
Yeah.
On the website it says pre-order now, coming soon.
Yeah, well. You know, everything's being delayed nowadays, so who the fuck knows anyways. But yeah, it's like that style of like taking myth and turning it into something more realistic. I'm excited. Oh, and I remember yelling at Tom how happy I was to see this in the fucking trailer, but armor actually working in that fucking CGI trailer when the guy took like an axe and he's wearing scale mail and it didn't like stick in his stomach. I was like, fuck yeah. I mean, it's scale mail, it has no structure, so the dude probably would have been like winded and maybe like a rib or two cracked, but the fact that armor actually worked and saved a man's life for once in like a movie cinematic scene was like, I was like, oh yeah. Oh baby. Armor functions. Oh yes.
That's the part that he replays over and over and
oh
yeah. Hit me, daddy.
Hit me. Hit me and don't kill me. Oh.
that
boy.
last part always really kills the movie.
Yeah. But yeah, that made me happy. That made me so happy seeing that, because like I love the Lord of the Rings, like the old movies, the trilogy. Loved them to death, but seeing all these freaking guys in full like plate armor defending against orcs and like an arrow just like going through it, it's just like
what's the point?
What's the point? Just make more swords at this point. Like, seriously, guys, come on. Invest in something better. Like, if you pad up enough, there's actually a video and like a picture of some guy just wearing padded armor, and he just like padded it up enough. And like pad armor's about as lazy. It's literally just like fabric.
Mm.
And he took an arrow and he was like, whatever. So, like, I'd expect more of metal. And honestly, back then, like, crossbows were such a thing because there's something at like a certain range could actually pierce metal. Like, bows would have no hell in chance unless you got a super lucky shot. They just kind of ping off. Bullets when they came out was just like, well, fuck armor whatsoever. But yeah, when that axe hit that armor and bounced off and didn't murder the man, I was like, oh, oh yeah,
That's what Daddy likes.
that's what Daddy likes. Protective armor.
Remember, kids always use protection.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, please, and actually make sure your protection works. I'm gonna write, and I have been meaning to start writing, but if I ever, I have so many ideas, but if I ever actually write and like my shit becomes like a movie, the first thing, if it's just like, well, how do you want to be cinematic? And I'll be like, if some dude wears plate armor and gets taken down by some yahoo with a short bow, I am going to literally sue all all of you out of existence.
I'm gonna lock you and me in a room. I'm gonna give you a short bow. I'm gonna be in full armor with an axe, and we're gonna see who gets out alive.
Yeah, basically. Like, good fucking luck.
Just gonna get bounced off of you every time while you just scream at them. Do you see?
Do you see?
Do you see how this works?
Rob, imagine Nathan in full plate armor with a battle axe running towards you doing his screech.
Yeah.
Oh.
Goodness, a wraith.
A banshee.
A banshee.
A wailing
Man.
banshee.
God. It's also another thing, battle axes. The like actual hit area for like killing somebody with battle axes always like weirds me out in those videos because it's like swords are more efficient in that because you have a large area that you can hit somebody to kill them. Battle axes, like, you have a lot of leverage, and usually the heads were a bit smaller that were betrayed, but they still have a lot of weight behind them. So you can breach things, but if I was wearing full plate, I'd probably just go like a short sword because A, I'm not very strong, so full plate slow me down enough as is, so I wouldn't want to lug something like that around. But hey, short swords are great. You just need to stab them more. And I'm down with that. Usually one stab anyways will knock somebody out, and then you can just poke them until death. So the weird shit you learn when your computer is broken, so you just spend most of your days searching up weird ass facts on the internet.
So assuming Assassin's Creed Valhalla is supposed to come out this holiday,
I'm excited.
assuming nothing happens and it doesn't get delayed, I actually don't think it will. I think Ubisoft probably waited until it was done, or it's close to being done.
I feel like it's close to being done.
I don't think they would have announced it in this way if there was a chance of it not making its release date when it's that close to release already.
Yeah.
When COVID's going on, I think it's probably almost done, if not already done.
Yeah.
Especially since like as I remember as far back as like 2 years ago, there was already rumors that the next Assassin's Creed was going to take place during like Norse mythology and shit.
Oh, I remember that too, yeah.
And I remember years and years and years before that, there was a rumor of Assassin's Creed Empire taking place in ancient Egypt. So I'm inclined to believe that Ubisoft sucks at keeping their stuff secret.
Yeah, no kidding.
But anyway, what I was going to say is, assuming it does release this year, do you think... I'm thinking forward to the Game Awards. This is going to be a really tricky year for the judges to pick a bunch of games to be nominated for Game of the Year.
Just going to be Animal Crossing in every category.
I was about to say, I'm wondering if we're going to see like Final Fantasy VII, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Doom Eternal, and Animal Crossing or something like going up for Game of the Year.
This year's been pretty good, and it's still relatively close. Well, to say this year's been pretty good is a bit of a double-edged knife there. But game-wise, yeah, there's been a good amount of stuff coming out. World-wise, it's been pretty shitty, but game-wise, yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a pretty good year.
I'm just wondering how many more projects are going to get delayed or postponed. Like
Yeah.
what is out there now that could be nominated for Game of the Year and it's justifiable is what I'm trying to say. Like I remember, I can't remember what year it was. It was a couple of years ago. There was not enough fighting games released in the year from the typical publishers that you'd expect.
I remember that too. What year was
for
that?
Game of the Year for fighting games. And so like Jump Force was included, even though it's like the worst reviewed licensed fighting game ever. And I'm just wondering, like, are we going to see a repeat of that in like every category because there's just not enough?
Maybe. I don't know. This year's going to be really tricky because it honestly depends on how much gets delayed.
Do you think the world will be back to some form of normalcy by that point?
I don't know if it'll be normalcy getting up to that. I think next year it'll probably definitely be more normal, but I'm not like this year's been so weird. Like just shit has just been constantly coming out and just like wrecking different parts of the world that I don't even want to say with any confidence that anything will be normal by the end of this year. For all I know, by the end of this year we could all just be like, I don't know, acid rain falling from the sky as like freaking aliens are invading.
Did you hear about the murder hornets?
Oh god,
I saw a tweet about
Yeah.
it. Is it a real thing?
As far as I know, yeah. I don't think
Oh,
it's
God.
like as much of a panic as.
Okay.
But I mean, this keeps happening every so often. It's like, oh, someone's seen the giant hornets.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's just kind of funny to me that all this keeps happening like,
It really
right
does.
now.
And like even
are
up
the murder
here,
hornets?
I
What
can-
are the murder
hold on,
hornets?
let me find.
They're like giant hornets, literal
they're-
giant hornets, like the size of
they're-
your thumb.
But that's the only thing special about them. Like it's not new genus found where they have human killing venom.
No, it's like I'm pretty sure it's just like the same. I don't know how deadly they are, but it is like the same species. I think that just keeps finding its way over here.
Yeah,
like it's like the occasional panic that happens when it's like, oh, there was one rat found in Alberta.
Yeah, like even shit here, like we had fucking COVID and then the floods. I'm half expecting somewhere there's going to be another drought, so they'll burn down, and then during the summer we'll just be under like smoke again. It's more of like a case of what else can like 2020 throw at us. Like, I already don't leave my home. What else do you want?
Right. So, according to TMZ, because that was the first link that came up when I googled the murder hornet.
Wow, that's gonna be fun.
They can't.
Really, mine was CNN.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, they're basically the same thing.
Basically. Feel like we're gonna get some shade from that, but whatever. But yeah. What else can this year throw at me? Come on. I'm already bunkered down.
But yeah, I mean, like, things almost certainly won't be completely the way they were by the end of the year. But I think, they're already talking about, like, whether or not you think that's a good idea. They are talking about, like, relaxing some of the lockdown stuff.
I think it's an absolutely horrible idea.
Yeah, I mean,
it depends on what they open up. Like, that's going to be my main thing is what's going to be open up and what are you relaxing? Because the last thing you want is to be like, especially when they're talking in the States, like, let's just open everything. And then everybody mingles and like infections skyrocket. And then you have to lock down again, which is just going to be worse because then people will be like, well, why the fuck are we in again? I'd rather just like, if it's like super slow.
Mm-hmm.
At least if you're going to open up, making sure that the PPE is in place for like people working in industry where you can't work from home.
Yeah, and like the testing and all that.
Yeah. So it's dependent on how they do it. I'm not up because there are people who are very impatient, and I can understand their bills to pay and all that.
Yeah.
But how much more versus how much of the economy can we get back up and working? Like, how many people are you willing to kill to get your economy back up and working is basically the question of this whole thing. Because,
Yeah.
like, you know me, we're dealing with Nana right now, and she's getting worse. And, like, if she was to catch it, that would just be, like, death right there. So,
Yeah.
I'm very much a little worried about what will happen because I actually have family that is in the stakes in this one. And some people I talk to, they don't. And some people I talk to, they do. And there are a lot of very opposed opinions. So I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just going to hunker down and continue working fully PPE'd up, helping old people, and just avoiding my family because that's what I am not risking getting mom and dad sick and then getting Nana sick. So I have not been in contact. I'm downstairs at this point. We take turns in the kitchen, and I wipe everything down. Yeah, so this is going to be fun, and I don't think that it's going to be normal by the end of 2020 at this rate.
Yeah.
Maybe next year, by the end of next year, things will be back to semi-normal, but a lot is going to change from this.
Mm-hmm.
Like office space, I'm pretty sure a lot of companies are suddenly realizing that, hey, people can work from home and we don't have to spend so much fucking money on renting out office space for people who don't need it.
Yeah.
I am curious if this is going to affect when Holly and I were in Japan last year. I noticed they are very much a culture that adopts the PPE, pardon, that
Mhm.
if someone just has a common cold, or even if they don't even think they're sick but they cough a couple times, they put on a mask and go about their day. I'm curious if we as a like in North America as a culture will start to adopt a similar philosophy with them, or if our healthcare system is going to change, like forcing businesses to, you can't fire a guy for calling in sick a bunch, like remember COVID. You know what I mean? I'm wondering what's going to
Yeah.
change after this is done.
I think it's
I feel like
honestly going to be a mix.
yeah, I
Like,
think if there are changes, it is going to be more in like actual policy rather than sort of cultural practices, just because it takes a lot to change practices.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see like, paid sick time becoming more of a thing.
mhm. And like, there have already been a little bit of like walking downtown, even a few years back, there was starting to be like an emergence of people who would just wear masks if they weren't feeling the best.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll probably see it more, but not to the extent of what is like you see in Japan. But it'll, like part of it is if office workers don't even need to come in, then would sick time even apply to those people if it's not like horrendous? Like if you're literally like stuck in bed versus like you're having a sniffle and like you just don't want to make sure that like it doesn't evolve into anything, would your boss really like accept that as a just, well, I'm just going to stay in bed?
I think until there is an easily distributed vaccine for COVID, that any like calling into work sick saying I got a mild cough might be, yep, stay home.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
what it is at a place where I work. If you even like, they do a full
but I mean,
test when
like,
you walk
even
in.
after businesses reopen and everything, for lack of a better way of putting it, returns to quote unquote normal, I think that the common cold or the flu are going to be treated a lot more. Those symptoms are going to be treated a lot more seriously just because until there is like an established vaccine that's comes about every so often or something, that it's more of a concern. I feel that someone could have it. Like even in 2021, I feel like if you call in to work sick and you have a cough and a fever and it's a dry cough, they're just gonna, okay, stay home, don't come in until things calm down or something, rather than, well, screw you, I needed you here today, you're fired or something.
Yeah,
I could see that.
I could see it too.
I just where I worked before I lost my job to the economy in November was very much you have 2 weeks of sick day every year, but if you use any of them, I will hate you every day for months, and then you'll use another one, and then I'll hate you again. And it was very much where I worked, I was doing consistent like 14 or 15 hour work days, and it's I personally don't have an issue with that because they do pay you overtime and everything, blah blah blah. But it was very much a workaholic type mentality, and if you called in sick more than the other guy, as soon as they have an excuse to fire somebody, you're the one that gets cut. And I just feel like that culture is going to be changed, whether the businesses want it to or not, because I feel like even if they did fire you over something like that, it'd be very easy to call the 6 o'clock news and say, hey, I potentially had COVID and lost my job because of it. And then that business is going to be in big trouble or something.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. I'm feeling it. But it's another aspect of like, if you're going in, then that'll definitely be something that's more like of a big thing. Like if you're actually like a person who needs to be there to work versus if you're a person who just needs to be at home to work, because as said, like companies are probably figuring out, hey, we can save a lot of money off of rent if we just have people work from home. So like if you're working from home, I think the excuse might still just be kind of the same. Like, oh, well, if you got a mild cough, you can still type on the keyboard, can't you? Where if you're like going in like to work in a yard or working in retail, it'll be definitely a lot more like, oh God, you have a mild cough, stay home. Like we don't want you anywhere near us. But yeah. It'd be interesting to see how it works. And there is going to be a lot of change coming from
I am looking forward to when this is when it's safe, or when it's more safe anyway, for me to be able to just bring you guys over here to record again, because every time I use the channel as partially an excuse to dive into like my game library of games that I wouldn't normally just sit down and play.
Yeah.
And there's the part of me that's like, I really want to play that, but that'd be great for the channel. I'll wait. I really want to play this, but that'd be awesome for the channel. I'll wait.
Yeah, like doing the
when can I
Halo
have Robin,
series.
Nathan, or Jordan over again?
Yeah, like us doing the Halo series and like all this other shit. And we should do Load Runner 2. That'd be fun. And then I can get my kicks in on that. Yeah. It's such a stressful game. I love it. Seriously, some of the like far like some of the levels are like later on in like the worlds, those get like insane. It's like, how the fuck am I supposed to beat this shit? But yeah, I'm excited at actually doing things because now my schedule's a little bit more open. Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm ready. I'm ready for Freddy. I don't know why I'd skip to that, but whatever.
This coming Friday, the first episode of either the first episode or the only episode, I haven't figured out how I'm going to edit it yet, of Rob and I playing Shinobi, Revenge of Shinobi, will be airing. And I think, Rob, what I've decided to do is keep them quote unquote canon to when we do get the chance to return. We'll probably just continue from where we left off. But Rob and I attempted playing Revenge of Shinobi over the internet using an emulator, and it kind of worked.
For a little while.
we ended up encountering major input delay issues with it, so we just decided to put it on the back burner. But we recorded some episodes, and there were some pretty funny moments in there, so we're going to keep... It's either going to be 3 episodes or it's going to be one big one. I haven't decided how I'm going to do that yet, but it'll be starting this Friday. And beyond that, we have not actually... We're empty. The wells run dry. So we gotta either
get
figure
to it.
out something or maybe put the channel on hold for a while. There is other stuff we know we can do, but
Don't we have a Smash episode coming out?
it's coming on Wednesday.
Oh,
There's actually did you guys do? No, you probably didn't. I was wondering if your Bomberman was done online or not, but
Yep.
yeah.
that's-
That
was
that
it?
one's come out already.
See
Yeah, I
games
know,
that are
that's
designed
fun.
with
Mhm.
online multiplayer are just fine for us to
Yeah.
record.
Yeah.
Or a game that's single player that I stream through Discord to Rob, for example, that would work just fine. But using this emulator, where
Yeah,
the
Shinobi would be hard.
as far as the emulator is concerned, both Rob's computer and my computer were player one, so that
I
resulted
remember
in the
s- I remember
that resulted in the game having to account for our internet connection being part of the input, and it
Yeah.
made playing a reaction-based action platformer a lot more difficult than we anticipated.
Yeah.
But it led to a few funny moments, so I don't want to just walk away from that footage.
It was
Um,
freaking hilarious listening to you guys trying to set it up. I was in the call and just listening to them going like, all right, well, let's try turning on what was it? Hamachi.
Hamachi.
Is it connected? No, all right, let's go through this and then the whole process and then all right, hold on, I'm gonna make a noise and tell me if the reaction is on point. And just like hearing Tom go, jump, jump, jump. Did it work? It was a fun little Ellen. Why you guys trying to get into him figuring out what the fuck are? It was
If
fun.
you thought that was good, you should watch us play it this
I
Friday.
probably will because listening to you set it up was pretty amusing. I'm gonna
Like
listen
and
to you actually
subscribe.
playing it.
Punch that
already
like button, ring that bell.
Whoa!
So,
Get onto our Teespring store.
I figured out how to look at the analytics in more detail for our YouTube channel. And
Did you figure out where all those comments came from?
they were spam. I found them in my YouTube deleted this automatically spot.
Huh.
So I don't know why a couple of furry accounts spammed my comment section.
God damn it.
But anyway, I was going to say about the analytics is it's interesting when you look at the metadata of like what episodes throughout our entire existence have the most views, have the most consistent view time. All of our most viewed and most viewed timed episodes are from Twilight Princess, and the
That's a
most
fucking good
viewed
game.
and most watched time one is the one about bug dicks.
I wonder
it's-
why.
but it's fun to go through that and look at things and see. I can see how complex it must be for professional YouTubers to constantly have to cater to the algorithm, see what worked and what didn't work, and how to make the next one work. Whereas we just kind of, fuck it, let's just do a thing and put it out there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm trying to figure out what furry spam looks like.
Well, it was just that their account name was like, I don't even remember.
Oh, like the color here, name of animal here,
Yes,
random
yeah.
number here.
And the picture was like a fursona of some kind. And that's all
Okay.
it was. It wasn't that they like commented about wanting to yiff us or some shit.
Oh,
This
God.
podcast is great. I want to yiff you.
Oh, I get enough of that in my day to day. All right.
But moving forward on the channel, there might be stretches of a week or two where we don't have any content to put out just because we have run out of a backlog at this point.
Yeah.
But we are going to try to keep recording. I say, Rob, that we do. This goes for Nathan too, as well. That we will look into more potentially single player stuff that I'll just play and stream.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I did like the idea. I can't remember which one of us came up with it. That we were thinking of doing like turn-based RPGs.
Well, that was
that-
me.
Yeah. I think both of us actually
Yeah,
came up with it.
I think we both
Bit
did.
independent.
But that one would work very well because at the end of the day, ultimately, we're just strategizing amongst each other anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, the turn-based ones would be fun.
But yeah.
Oh, what was that old Oh fuck! We both love the fuck out of it. It was an Inuyasha turn-based.
Inuyasha, The Secret of the Cursed Mask. I still have
Yeah. Oh, that'd be fucking fun. We played the shit out of that game. That was great.
it. That game
That's
made me
harking
feel
back.
feelings.
It really did.
That game made me cry in the end. I think it was the first game that ever made me cry.
That was a good fucking game. I'd love to go back into that one. That was such a good game.
So yeah, we'll have to coordinate stuff that we can do like that.
Yeah.
I do really, really, really want us to play Half-Life sooner rather than later. But the more I think about it, I really desperately want to wait until we can record together on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those are good, like those games and like Halo. Halo's so much more like there's something always so special about doing it as a couch game.
Halo, we could
definitely do it online. Like it would be easy.
We could do a series of like highlight reels where we essentially just record ourselves playing, doing whatever, and then I'll just edit that footage into like a highlight reel episode kind of a deal rather than it being a full series.
Could do like the shit we do when we're playing normal versus the shit we do when we're playing legendary, and most of it on legendary is just me hiding in a corner punching like weird bulbous objects and shooting with a sniper rifle. We have to do another legendary run. Those are great. It's great when you have somebody who's ADHD and doesn't mind sitting in the back of a corner for a bit, just plinking away with a long range weapon and doing random ass shit.
But yeah, that's kind of the state of the channel right now. Is we aren't going to stop anytime soon, but we might end up having breaks of content that we didn't anticipate. Just especially since Shinobi didn't turn out the way Rob and I were hoping, and the actual backlog that we did have has now all aired. So I'm just running out of stuff to upload. There was a solo video I was working on. I might pick back up. And our Sonic Boom review is finally in full production, and it will be, I don't know when, it might still take a little while, but it is on the horizon. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have any suggestions for games Rob and I or Nathan and I or all three, or I don't know, get Jordan into or something that we could do. Doesn't have to be multiplayer, but that is ideal.
Something we can do online.
Yeah, something that we all, if it's something that we all don't own, it also has to be cheap. So it's there's not a whole heck of a lot, but I don't know, suggestions are welcomed.
Well, I mean, I think we're both planning on getting a Burnout Paradise when it comes out on the Switch, so you can do stuff with.
Yeah, I'm excited for Burnout.
Yeah.
I do wish it was a little bit cheaper because of its age, but if it sends a message to EA that there is a market for their old games on Switch, I'm willing to pay the price.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I've been thinking about it, and like, it comes with 8 packs of DLC. Like, I know it's something I'm interested in. I'm like more than willing to pay the price for it.
What else is coming out in the near future? I know Ghost of Tsushima is like July, I think.
Yeah.
And Cyberpunk.
The new Baldur's Gate supposed to be sometime this year, but I don't know when it's going to come out.
That's a series I've always thought of that never actually played.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like Lauren is doing it, and I fucking love like the games that they've been doing. So Divinity Original Sin is so fun. Oh, such a good game. That's another one. If it's ever on it's ever cheap, I'd love to do that. It's turn-based strategy, but it's such a fun game. Divinity Original Sin 2 is so fun. Love it. Good games coming out, and I'm excited, and I'm wondering how much will probably be, but I'm hoping not too much. Hoping I can get a computer that could run most of them at some point during this year. If Memory Express or something ever opens up again.
You can order on their website and do store pickup, I think.
Yeah, but I suck at building things. Unless they're still doing like the buildings, I break everything I try to touch. If they're still doing that, then I'll probably be like, yeah, hell yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll see.
Any clothing?
Clothing.
Any closing thoughts, guys?
The new Assassin's Creed. I'm excited for it. Very fantasy, but I'm totally down for that. Can't wait to beat the fuck out of some weird Romanesque looking Brits. So this is gonna be great.
I'm wondering if that's because they reused assets from what was
It
the
might
other
have
one called?
been.
Odyssey.
Yeah, let's see. It could have been.
I never played Odyssey. I heard it was okay, but I never played it.
Played it a bit. It is good, but it, like as I said, the progression really killed it for me.
The setting didn't impress me
setting
as much as
was-
Origins.
hmm
I've always had a soft spot for ancient Egypt, and I blame Yu-Gi-Oh because of it. That's also admittedly a part of why I do have a big interest in Valhalla. Is my whole
nuts.
life, my mother's always told me that, like, oh, you had Viking ancestors from Norway, and I always kind of went, whatever. I'm sure lots of people do. I don't really care. But then I saw this trailer and I was like, oh, they're cooler than I thought they were. I mean, obviously it's like romanticized quite a bit.
It is very
Yeah.
romanticized, like holy. But yeah, it was a fun time. Like, there's a lot of stereotypes that Vikings got, which wasn't completely like raping and pillaging everyone. Everybody did that back then, but the Vikings were just very good at it.
That was
so
just a
they
Friday
just kind
night.
of yeah, Vikings were just really good at like attacking and just raiding areas. So they just kind of got the whole stigma for it. But you know, Vikings, I'm excited.
Okay. Anything you want to add, Rob?
No, I think we pretty much covered it.
I always feel bad whenever there's 3 people in a podcast or more, Rob. You always kind of get shoved to the side.
So quiet. So
You're so polite.
innocent.
You don't like to interrupt people.
And
No,
I just go on
really
rants. So I just go on half incoherent rants, which have to be picked apart later, but say them. Hopefully people understood what I was saying. Hopefully I didn't turn out like a rambling madman, but knowing my luck, I probably did.
It's a podcast. That's what we're all supposed to do.
Yeah.
Really?
Who doesn't love rambling?
I was
Except for
born a
Rob.
rambling man.
Rob's too polite to ramble.
You know,
I
an
still have
idea.
enough to say to ramble.
That's fair.
One idea we could do. Huh.
Huh?
I'll have to talk to Rob about it off the air, but I just had an idea for the channel.
Ooh, really?
Yeah, well, it's
Whoa.
kind of sort of. Well, it's not really super special. An idea I had was, it's similar to your sort of book club idea that we can go into later.
Yeah.
But we'd essentially challenge each other to a game that one of us likes, and then using Discord to stream it so that commentary could be coherent.
I think it'd be fun.
So it
Yeah.
could be, as long as it was fairly cheap, for me anyway, it could be on virtually any console because I've got like a billion of them. But if it was on a retro system and then it was a game we don't have access to right now, we could use an emulator. But then that way it's like there's a reason why it's a solo experience, is it's kind of it's almost like how Mass Effect is a solo experience for you because I've played it a million times, so it's, in my eyes, it's your playthrough. It could be, I don't know, we'd have to hammer out. It could be like challenges, or it could just be a playthrough, or it could be, Jordan and I had an idea forever ago for a series we could do that we would call, I think, Boss Rush was the idea. And we would have like a bunch of different save files and a bunch of different games pre-set up to some boss fight in the game. Doesn't have to be the final boss, doesn't have to be the first one. And we would challenge each other to them and see who beat it faster, or who used up all their lives, or who whatever. And then the episode would be as many bosses that we could fit into it. So it could be Jordan versus something in Bloodborne, and then he beats it, and it immediately jumps to him fighting in the Elite Four in Pokemon, and then when he beats the trainer, it jumps to something in Zelda. Like the actual episode could be whatever the fuck. We could look into more of that stuff too, since COVID's preventing us from doing normal Let's Plays as normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
You could do like your favorite bosses to fight in like various series. Top 10 favorite bosses to beat the fuck out of.
We're gonna become one of those channels.
I mean, what else are you supposed to do?
Welcome to WatchMojo.com.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. But we would obviously do it far more entertaining.
Real voiceover people now. Remember when it was all text to speech?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job, Watch Mojo. I'm proud of you.
You're slowly becoming better. Slowly.
Okay. Well, I guess that does it for this Wildrose podcast. Any suggestions for games we could play in the future? Please leave them in the comment section down below. Fuck it, I'll just say it for real. Please subscribe and punch that punch the subscribe button and ring the bell. I don't know how to fucking do that.
Punch it right through your monitor.
Yeah.
It makes us feel good.
Yeah. Every monitor sacrificed from punching the subscribe button just makes us feel better.
Keep subscribing and unsubscribing over and over again so we could keep feeling the rush of someone pushing that button.
Over and over again.
All right. Well, I guess we'll see you guys next time.
Sweet. What did we even talk about? Bye.